From KAMR Local 4 News, your local election headquarters, this is Politics Today.
The discussion about closing 2 local pools comes to a vote. Details on what city leaders decided and the civil trial regarding if WT could have drag shows on campus started this past week. Where that case goes from here. A long discussion at Emerald City Hall ended with a vote that could impact 2 neighborhood swimming pools. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday morning. Politics Today's Blas Guerrero has more on what the City Council decided.
The Southwest and Southeast pool has been debated for months, and now council members have taken action. City officials say safety concerns are now the driving factor behind the decision. Staff from Parks and Recreation raised concerns about outdated equipment, leaks, and voids beneath the pool could pose safety risks.
Close Southwest at this point, and let's do a further study on the Southeast, because we do want to make sure before we close something permanently like that, what is the need? What do we really need?
Council members also discussed the cost. Staff estimates show it would take about $1 to $2 million per pool just to handle major repairs.
Not talking about mechanical, we're talking about human safety and human life. And we have to take that has to be front and center. Okay? So the decision in the motion that I made was that we close Southwest. It was a very hard decision to make.
After discussion, the council voted to permanently close Southwest Pool and keep the Southeast Pool closed while an engineering study is conducted to determine the next steps.
Find out what the engineering is. I think the engineering is going to reveal some significant failure, and I think that's going to prove a path forward. If those engineering studies come back and they prove up that we can take care of it with relatively minor expense, then let's take a look at it.
The resolution will have to go through a second reading and vote, but there's no indication council members would vote against it. The engineering study would determine if the Southeast pool could be repaired, replaced, or redesigned. Any long-term decision on repairs or replacements could require future council discussion and possible voter approval. Council members and community also had the opportunity to hear how Thomas Hover was chosen as Amarillo's next chief of police. His confirmation was passed by council. The deputy city manager said Amarillo wanted a chief who showed integrity, fairness, transparent communication, and a culture and morale builder within the department. Officials say he balances data-driven policing with meaningful community engagement.
And I had the opportunity to do the interviews here. One of the biggest things that continue to strike me is the passion, not only from the community, right? People show up. You see it every single day at the council members, but you also see the passion of the officers. Everybody's excited and wants to help and to serve the community.
They also thanked the interim police chief, Jimmy Johnson, for his work and leadership while that search was happening. Amarillo College Board of Regents votes to temporarily suspend one of their members this week. John Betancourt was arrested on January 2nd for allegedly driving while intoxicated. Amarillo police say the officer reported Betancourt speeding and, quote, straddling both lanes of traffic. Betancourt is also running for state senate in District 31. The Regents voted to temporarily suspend him from boards and committees pending the APD investigation.
The board does not have the authority to remove a sitting board member. We do have the authority to do what we did tonight, however, and that is the temporary suspension. He will be a voting board member. He will attend all meetings just like he always has. He just won't have any of those other extra assignments. He won't be spending taxpayer dollars going to trainings or representing us at the state or the national level.
Betancourt also pleaded guilty to driving while intoxicated in 2017 and was sentenced to 6 days in county jail. Back on January 6, Betancourt sent us a statement saying he was aware of the situation and is cooperating fully with law enforcement. The first and only day of a federal trial over the drag shows at West Texas A&M University has wrapped up. After testimony and closing arguments, the case is now in the judge's hands. The trial focused on whether West Texas A&M University can ban drag performances on campus. WT President Dr. Walter Wendler testified that he views drag shows as demeaning to women and inappropriate for a university setting. He told the court he canceled the first drag show in March of 2023 without speaking to Spectrum members beforehand and confirmed there were no formal complaints from students, staff, community members, or donors. Former Spectrum WT President Derek Bright also testifying, saying the drag show was intended to raise money for the Trevor Project and connect with the community. Bright told the court the group explored other venues after the cancellation but found them too small, too expensive, or age restricted, and said minors who attended were required to be with a parent or guardian. Bright says that he insisted on the PG-13 rating of the show to avoid highly sexualized performances. We are expecting an update on that case on January 23rd. Amarillo's economy is growing, and it's being recognized for those improvements. Details on why officials say it's great and why it will continue to make headlines. Plus, the Amarillo NAACP hosts a town hall. We'll take you there after this quick break. Welcome back, friends. USA Today reporting Amarillo is #1 for mid-sized towns when looking at the 2026 economic forecast. Politics Today's Princess Bryant has more on what the forecast will look for this year and into the future.
Amarillo is continuing to grow with businesses coming into the city, people moving into town, and people traveling through.
The forecasted growth for our economy is really based on what types of industry we have here. In Amarillo, we're very fortunate. We have a very diverse economy. About 11% of our workforce is in manufacturing.
Nelson explains because of the diverse economy and a good manufacturing base, the forecast growth continues to look good.
2026 looks great. We continue to have new businesses opening with the data center locations being outside of Amarillo. It still benefits our community. There's a lot of economic activity centered around those projects.
When it comes to why Amarillo continues to see growth, economists say it's all about location.
We've got I-40 and we've got I-27, and they kind of form this crisscross, on the map. We're located very strategically right in the middle of the country. And if you think about the Ports to Plains project and the growth, the projected growth between the United States and Mexico in the next 20, 30 years.
WT Professor of Business and Economics Neil Meredith adds that seeing growth in the city is all about the ingredients.
Amarillo economy has a lot of different ingredients to it that help contribute to its growth and development. You have sort of smooth and steady population growth, a healthy labor force participation. You've got different sectors, key federal infrastructure and Pantex.
In Amarillo, Princess Bryant, KMR Local 4 News.
Meredith also credits the growth of the Amarillo Economic Development Corporation working with the City Council to expand on businesses being open. Amarillo City Council approving a tax increment reinvestment zone agreement for the Herring Hotel. It was passed in a 5-0 vote. This project aims to renovate the building. The agreement is for 100% annual reimbursement of ad valorem taxes for 10 years and a one-time grant not to exceed $900,000 for facade and infrastructure work. We've got more from the City Council meeting this week, which had a very full schedule. You can check it out at myhighplains.com. Crime prevention, community safety, trust, and transparency. Those were just a few of the items that were on the agenda for the Amarillo NAACP's town hall that happened Thursday night. They had a number of panelists, including community activists, county judges, interim police chief, and a county sheriff. Officials say this is to address recent shootings, a lack of youth activities, fire hazards, and loose animals. A county right here on the High Plains has completed the plan to work with ICE agents. Details on what that means for law enforcement. Plus, new discussions on Capitol Hill when it comes to regulating abortion-inducing medications. How Amarillo plays a role in that debate. Either it be jail enforcement or task force, a number of our counties are helping assist U.S. immigration and custom enforcement operations. Politics Today's Princess Bryant has more on operations happening all across the Panhandle.
The 287G program, according to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, allows ICE to delegate state and local law enforcement officers the authority to perform specified immigration officer functions under ICE direction and oversight. There are 4 models, 2 of them being seen in the Panhandle.
Right now, the only thing that we do is the 287G, which is actually in the jail. We've been doing that for almost 7.5 years now. We have guys over there that have been through the training, and they are now technically ICE agents, but they still work for me.
Here's file video, Potter County Jail. Sheriff Thomas explains that in the jail enforcement model, Potter County holds the inmate for their charge in Potter County, and then they will get in contact with ICE.
Once that's been adjudicated and you've served your time or whatever, then we call ICE, and they have like 48 hours to come and pick them up.
Over in Hartley County, instead of the jail enforcement model, they take part in the task force model, which allows the department to enforce limited immigration authority with ICE oversight.
Officers on their routine patrol or whatever they're doing, if they encounter somebody that they believe has no status to be in the United States, then they have the authority to ask questions or kind of help identify who they are, and then working with ICE.
Hartley is one of the only counties in the Texas Panhandle that takes part in this model. Dallam County is currently in the jail enforcement model, but is currently training for the task force model.
We're so remote that I think having us on the task force model helps to further the ICE operations that are being done in this area, because I mean they're stretched thin. So anything we can do to aid other law enforcement agencies with enforcement actions, that's what we're here for.
With Hartley and Dallam counties sharing a jail, Sheriff Fowler explains there are not any personnel in the jail because it's in Dallam County. So Sheriff Fowler explains that the task force model is what was available to that county. Sheriff Thomas explains that although Potter County is taking part in the jail enforcement model, if ICE needs assistance, the county will help. Thomas adds that the county has talked with their ICE representative about the task force, but it's not something they are looking into doing right now. Governor Greg Abbott has announced he is appointing Judy Parker as the Chief Justice of the 7th Court of Appeals. Parker was originally appointed to the Court of Appeals by the governor back in 2017. She is a founding member and judicial master of the Texas Tech University School of Law American Inn of Court, and is a director of the Panhandle Family Law Association. Her term in the Chief Justice role is set to expire at the end of the year. Those in several counties might see some low-level helicopters in the sky for the next few months. Crews are out capturing images of geology and aquifers. The survey started this week and will last 1 to 2 months. People in Curry and Roosevelt counties in New Mexico, as well as Palmer and Bailey counties, might see some of that work being done. A heated hearing on Capitol Hill this week over abortion pills and whether states should be able to crack down on doctors who mail them across state lines. Amarillo played host to several cases on the federal level, including mifepristone, as well as Texas suing a New York doctor for sending a person that medication through telehealth. Washington correspondent Rashad Hudson joins us now with that story.
Democratic and Republican senators clashed over ordering abortion pills by mail without a doctor visit.
Mifepristone is safe, it is effective.
A woman in Florida got an abortion drug from out of state as part of a plot to kill her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend's child.
Testifying for states, Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill blamed federal policy for a surge of abortions in her state.
Behind these statistics is a woman or girl injured by this dangerous, illegal, and medically unsupervised distribution and use of abortion pills.
Senator Bernie Sanders pushed back, saying state laws are overriding women's choices.
10,000 women a year in Louisiana make a decision, and that decision is overridden by the state legislature rather than their own choice. I think that's unfortunate.
And Murrill came ready to defend her state's law.
It is illegal, it is unethical, and it is immoral for anyone to send pills to someone with no medical supervision and then tell them to lie at the hospital.
Yeah, but that happens because of the laws of your state.
This is one of the biggest legal battles since Roe was overturned, with states and the federal government fighting over the safety of these pills and who can control their use.
They're certainly not safe for the unborn child, but there can also be potential complications for the mother.
Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy, who chairs the Senate Health Committee, is calling for a new federal safety review of abortion drugs. Reporting in Washington, Rashad Hudson.
Now, in December, House Bill 7 went into effect here in Texas. It allows private citizens to sue an individual who makes, distributes, mails, or prescribes abortion pills to a Texas patient. There are several states, though, which have shield laws which protect medical providers and their rights to serve patients over telehealth. More protection is coming for people and property in Potter County. The announcement made last weekend, which should make you feel even safer. And Amarillo College changes the way they host public comment. Those stories are on the way. Potter County Fire Rescue says as of last Sunday, Fire Station 3 and Fire Station 5 are officially transitioned to 24-hour staffing, 365 a year. Station 3 is on Soncy. That's near Tascosa Road, northwest of the city. Station 5 is northeast of town on Willow Creek Drive. They add this landmark achievement ensures that a professional crew is ready to respond at a moment's notice, day or night. Potter County Fire Rescue Assistant Chief Jonathan Stevens telling us it took 4 years to build out where they are currently at, and he says they have plans to continue growth in the future to meet further needs of what is growing in the county, and he says it all takes time and budget.
So we've been going over this for about the last 4 years, gathering data and seeing where we're at with our volunteer staff and how everything's going. We have a dedicated volunteer staff. We're not meeting good enough times, getting to doorsteps to people's houses, making those emergency scenes on time. And it's the progression of the fire service. Most fire stations are 24 hours a day, ours being combination. It just took us a while to get there. Once we got enough staff, we had to have enough staff to be able to get there.
PCFR adds the transition would not have been possible without the unwavering support and vision of county leadership. Stevens says those at Fire Station 3 and Fire Station 5 are very excited about the transition as they now have a set schedule and shift and are at the station ready to go 24 hours a day. Amarillo College is changing up their public comment protocol. They unveiled updated public comment cards earlier this week and will now allow people to sign up to speak at special board meetings. We're told these will require a person to put their name, basic identifying information, and limiting their comments to a designated time frame and agenda item.
We want to be very transparent that this isn't just something we have decided on our own. We want an opinion. And so someone has given us an opinion about the legality of doing what we're doing, and we are to be found perfectly legal in everything. We don't want to chill free speech, yet at the same time we need some basic information about who you are and what you want to speak about.
In a letter by a law firm, they confirm these changes are legal according to the Texas law and the Constitution. Soon, more and more political signs are going to be popping up in your neighborhoods. But before you decide to put any down, TxDOT has a few tips and a warning to keep in mind. Politics Today continues right after this. As the political season ramps up ahead of the March primaries, more political signs are going to be seen all around town. So let's talk about what happened this week. TxDOT reminding everyone that putting campaign or other signs on public land is illegal. Okay, the emphasis I want you to hear there is public land. They say these can encroach the right-of-way and create safety violations and dangerous situations. TxDOT says signs can be put up on private land with the owner's permission. Again, Private land with the owner's permission. Campaign signs can be posted 90 days before an election. But here's the catch. If you put them up, they have to be taken down within 10 days after that election. You can always stay up to date with everything that's going on our website, myhighplains.com. Have a great Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow.